In 87 BC, Emperor Wu of Han Dynasty, Han Wudi, was seriously ill. He appointed 5 co-regents to assist his 8-year-old son Liu Fuling, the future Emperor Zhao of Han Dynasty. Here's a brief introduction of the 5 co-regents. Number 1. Sang Hongyang. He was Han Wudi's financial minister. Han Wudi implemented his proposal and imposed a wide variety of state interventions, such as creating monopolies on China's salt and iron enterprises and taxes on capital. Sang Hongyang was a genius mathematician and economist. He could find 1,000 ways to make money for Han Wudi. Without the help of Sang Hongyang, Han Wudi could not become a great dictator, as great as Qin Shi Huang. Number 2. Tian Qianqiu. Tian Qianqiu was a small official in charge of guarding the mausoleum of Liu Bang, the first emperor of Han Dynasty. After the witchcraft incident, Han Wudi was so regretful that he was provoked by some villains to kill his oldest son, the Crown Prince Ju. He wanted to restore the Crown Prince Ju's honor. However, no one dared to do that because lots of officials were killed previously for mentioning this topic. Only Tian Qianqiu felt the right time had come, so he wrote a letter to Han Wudi, saying that a god told him in the dream what happened between Han Wudi and his son were some trivial things. Han Wudi was so glad to receive this letter. Prince Ju was redressed, and Tian Qianqiu became one minister. Number 3. Shang Guanjie. Shang Guanjie was previously a feather forest guard. Feather Forest Guard Army was the imperial guarding army. Han Wudi chose the good-looking noble lads to be Feather Forest Guards, so Feather Forest Guards were also called Feather Forest lads by people, or in literature. But Shang Guanjie later became a horse breeder. One day, Han Wudi went to check his horses. He was shocked to find his horses had lost weight, so he wanted to chop off Shang Guanjie's head or castrate him. Shang Guanjie immediately kneeled and cried with tears. "When I heard your majesty was ill, I cried all day. I worried about your health. How can I have the mood to feed the horses?" Han Wudi was moved by Shang Guanjie's Oscar-winning acting, so he appointed Shang Guanjie to be his imperial bodyguard. Later, Shang Guanjie became the left general and took charge of imperial guarding army. Number 4. Jin Midi. Jin Midi was previously a Xiongnu prince. His tribe was defeated by Huo Qubing, the general of the flying cavalry, and he became one slave. One day, Han Wudi went to check his horses. He was surprised to find his horses were strong and tall. The horse breeder was strong and tall as well, and impressively handsome. When Han Wudi knew that the horse breeder was previously a Xiongnu prince, he immediately promoted Jin Midi to be his private driver. Later, Jin Midi became one important courtier. Number 5. Huo Guang. Huo Guang's brother was the flying cavalry general Huo Qubing. Huo Qubing defeated Xiongnu, and Han Wudi became a great emperor. Otherwise, he might be overthrown. Han Wudi was so sad. Huo Qubing died at a very young age, nor did he have sons. So Han Wudi made Huo Qubing's brother Huo Guang to be his attendant. Huo Guang became Han Wudi's attendant at the age of 10. 20 years had passed. He never made any mistakes. According to the historical records, Huo Guang was a handsome and cautious man. Han Wudi's eunuch had secretly followed Huo Guang. Every day he went to walk from home to the imperial court. Huo Guang walked the same route and exactly the same steps. Why Han Wudi appointed 5 co-regents? Because he wanted them to balance each other, so his son could easily control them. He did not want them to take the winner-takes-all game. As an experienced politician, Han Wudi had a feeling Jimmy and Huo Guang both had the potential and ability to threaten his son's power in future. So he set a trap to test these two persons. He said to Huo Guang, "You are the Duke of Zhou. Please assist my son to be a good emperor." Duke of Zhou was the most famous regent in Chinese history. Huo Guang answered, "Jimmy is more suitable than me to assist the young master." Jimmy was smart enough to know Huo Guang was a fierce guy, as his brother Huo Qubing, who had driven Xiongnu to Europe. So he immediately answered, "Huo Guang is much more capable than me. What's more, I'm a Xiongnu." Han Wudi was quite satisfied with their answers, and he was so sick. Few days later, he died. Obviously, 5 people would be too crowded for the seat of the regent. As soon as Han Wudi died, the 5 co-regents started the game of the regent. As mentioned before, Zhang Hongyang wanted to continue the state monopoly policy, but Huo Guang wanted to stop it. He thought it was time to stop exhausting people, otherwise people would rebel. As time went by, they too became political enemies. The co-regent Shang Guanjie stood on the side of Zhang Hongyang because he was the left general, but Huo Guang was the general-in-chief. If Huo Guang was kicked out, Shang Guanjie then could be the general-in-chief. The co-regent Tian Qianqiu appeared to be neutral, but he secretly chose Huo Guang's side. The Xiongnu prince Jimmy died before the game started. The first round was the discourses of iron and sword. In 81 BCE, a grand debate was held in the imperial court. The topic was about state monopoly, especially the state monopoly of iron and sword. Tian Qianqiu recorded this debate. This debate is very famous. It was recorded in history as the discourses of iron and sword. In the debate, Zhang Hongyang was fiercely attacked by 60 Confucianism scholars. They strictly criticized the iron and sword state monopoly policy because it made the people become extremely poor and the economy became worse and worse. Obviously, these Confucianism scholars were selected and organized by Huo Guang. Zhang Hongyang only asked them 3 questions to make them shut up. The 3 questions are, if we don't have the profit from state monopoly, how can we defend the invasion of northern barbarians? How can we deal with the physical deficit? How can we suppress the rebellion? These are the famous Zhang Hongyang questions. Every dynasty in China had to answer the Zhang Hongyang questions. The discourses of iron and sword had lasted for almost 5 months. At last, the young emperor did not abolish the state monopoly of iron and sword, but he abolished the state monopoly of wine. Huo Guang's attempt to dismiss Zhang Hongyang by the emperor's hand failed, but after the discourses, Huo Guang's trusted subordinate Yang Chang became the Minister of Finance. Therefore, Zhang Hongyang's power was partly taken by Huo Guang. The stressful Zhang Hongyang and Shang Guanjie united to accuse Huo Guang of rebellion in the name of the Prince of Yan. Although Zhang Hongyang could calculate the most complicated tax numbers of the empire, but he could never calculate Huo Guang's steps. Huo Guang had been Han Wudi's attendant for many years. He had already controlled the eunuchs of the imperial palaces and the imperial court. In ancient China, controlling the eunuchs equals to controlling the spy system. So Huo Guang knew every move of Shang Hongyang and Shang Guanjie. As soon as they accused Huo Guang of rebellion, Huo Guang immediately counter-accused them of cooperating with the Prince of Yan to assassinate the emperor. Huo Guang also ordered the eunuchs to search the evidence of Shang Hongyang and Shang Guanjie's rebellion. These smart eunuchs immediately found lots of weapons in Shang Guanjie's house. Shang Guanjie almost fainted when he saw his house was full of assassinating weapons, which only appeared in wuxia novels. At last, Shang Hongyang, Shang Guanjie, and their whole families were exterminated. Jin Midi died of illness. Tian Qianqiu became Huo Guang's subordinate. Huo Guang then became the winner of this game. His official title became 大司马大将军, which means General-in-Chief serving as Commander-in-Chief. The owning regent Huo Guang re-implemented the no tax, no COVID policy. He released the prisoners who were severely punished for tiny mistakes, and he stopped the Han-Xiongnu wars and recovered the relationship with Xiongnu by marrying Han princes to Xiongnu nobles. Due to Huo Guang's efforts, Han Empire became prosperous again. As the general-in-chief serving as commander-in-chief, Huo Guang was the most powerful man of the empire, and he was the busiest man. He needed to deal with the administration affairs, and he also needed to take care of the small emperor. When the emperor was 14 years old, Huo Guang ordered the palace maids to put on their pants inside their dresses so that the young emperor would not easily have sex with them. He wanted the young emperor to wait until his granddaughter grew up. Huo Guang was recorded in history as the first dictatorial regent. If he ordered the women in the harem to put on their pants, the emperor dared not to have sex with any other woman except Huo Guang's granddaughter. However, the emperor died at the age of 21 before the small emperors grew up. He had no issue, perhaps because of the pants. After Emperor Zhao died, Huo Guang had to choose another emperor. Han Wudi's grandson Niu He was chosen. The reason why he was chosen was because he was only 18 years old. When he got the order that he was chosen to be the emperor, he immediately set off from his fief. He also took 200 subordinates with him. They rushed to the capital city Chang'an. Numerous exhausted horses died on the way. When Huo Guang saw Niu He and his 200 subordinates, he was not happy. Obviously, Niu He wanted to replace Huo Guang's subordinates by his subordinates. Huo Guang regretted choosing Niu He. He then sent his trusted subordinate Tian Yannian to inform another trusted subordinate Yang Chang that he wanted to depose the new emperor. Yang Chang was shocked and speechless. Yang Chang's wife saw her husband was indecisive. He then came out and told her husband, "The general-in-chief wanted to depose the emperor, and he informed you. If you did not stand by his side, you will be the first one to be killed before the general-in-chief killed the emperor." Fortunately, Huo Guang's messenger Tian Yannian went back before he reported to Huo Guang. Yang Chang's wife then told Tian Yannian that her husband would firmly support the general-in-chief. Therefore, Yang Chang and his whole family was saved by his wife. By the way, Yang Chang's wife was the grand historian Sima Qian's daughter. Tian Yannian reported to Huo Guang that Yang Chang would support him. Huo Guang immediately ordered Yang Chang to write an impeachment letter to the Empress Dowager on behalf of all the courtiers and ministers. The next day, Yang Chang led the ministers to pay a formal visit to the Empress Dowager and report to her the awful work performance of the emperor. The teenager Empress Dowager, who was Huo Guang's granddaughter, then issued an edict to depose the emperor. This was the first time the Empress Dowager played the important role of deposing the emperor. In future, lots of powerful regents copied the same procedure of deposing the emperor. Because of this incident, Huo Guang was recorded as the first dictatorial regent in Chinese history. Previously, Huo Guang did not want to be a dictator, but he still became a dictator because the dictatorial system was already built up. He needed to thank Shang Hongyang. Without the money raised by him, Han Wudi could not build up this system. Han Wudi used Shang Hongyang's methods of money devaluation, state monopoly, land nationalization, tax collection to make the rich people and the aristocratic class become bankrupted. Therefore, no one was able to balance the emperor anymore. From then on, the emperors would easily become dictators, no matter they wanted or not. When the emperor was small or weak, the regent or the grand chancellor would easily become the dictator. Huo Guang was the first dictatorial regent in Chinese history, but he was not the last one. After him, lots of famous dictator regents were following his successful steps. After Liu He was deposed, Huo Guang needed to find the next emperor. He turned his eyes to another young man. This young man was only 17 years old, but he had been the prisoner for 5 years. So why did Huo Guang choose this prisoner to be the emperor? Thank you for watching this episode. See you.